Hear ye, and welcome to another edition of the off-season Swolecast. I'm not going to lie, I was looking forward to this. Our annual NFL Draft Swolecast with expert analyst Pat Kerrane, and he's not here yet. I guess when you win $2 million in a best ball contest, time no longer applies.
Optional.
Hey, TBD is what he says. So it's okay though, because I've got the prospect guide in my fingertip. Oh, look who it is, Mr. Pat Kerrane. I guess we can start now. It's the Swolecast, sponsored by IKB.GG. Let's do it.
Can you name static from the Swolecast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand context.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me, I don't do a ton of research before the show.
I've put no research into this. Don't know if it's true at all.
You're on the right show.
To it, bro. Live a little.
Live a little.
Just live a little, guys.
All right, yes. Pat did lose track of time because he was grinding the tape. So he's here. Pat, welcome to the show, bud. What's new?
Not too much. Yeah, taking notes on hand placement and footwork. So it's really as important as core strength always is for line play. It really does come down to getting the hands and the feet synced up.
Got it. I've got an anniversary coming up, so I didn't know if I need to work on my hand placement as well.
That's. I mean, when you go on your Arubian vacations, is when we have to worry about your hand placement. Yeah, you going all Justin Tucker on us down there, kitchen.
I know. I don't think we're gonna do any couples massages when we go on vacation next. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. Pete, your mic might need to be tuned up a little bit. Not sure.
All right, let me check here.
No, Peter's mic is fine. It's your internet that is predictably not functioning at 100%. It's not Peter. You are about a half second behind us, Dave.
Nice. It's probably because I got a million tabs
open. Dave just slightly behind.
Not sure if that's the internet.
All right, Davis, how are you doing?
I mean, couldn't be better, right? Swolecutta champion 2025. People, by the way, Dave, I mean, Peter said yesterday on Best Ball Breakfast, he's thinking about becoming like a Calcutta guy. We've already gotten official requests in the Swolies members only Discord. If you're not a member yet, there's a link to join that in the description of this. If you want in on future Calcuttas, is basically where I was leading there. Really no reason for us not to do one for, the U.S. Open, the Open Championship, so on and so forth.
I was thinking, I know people were talking about like season-long NFL Calcutta. I was thinking you could do it weekly. Like you pick like which team's going to win by the most points. Like we could come up with our categories, like which, player is going to lead the position in yards or fantasy points, and do Calcutta style drafts for the weekly contest. It could be very fun.
Yeah. If we wanted to commit to that, it definitely could be done very easily. Yeah.
And you as a budding auctioneer, this is really the role that you were born for.
Here's as Lou says, it's all too tiresome.
Lou's just mad because he took an absolute bath in the Calcutta.
So the deal is, the more intricate the Calcutta becomes, the more the rules, the more the strategy, actually the way less fun it is. So like the more you have to think about it, the way less fun it is. The reason why March Madness and Masters Calcuttas are good is you basically are just like, well, who can win? Well, not to care about receptions or yards or any. You're just
but think about my example. If it was which wide receiver is going to lead the slate in fantasy points, there's like 15 guys that are going to be like within that contention, right? Like you don't really have to think that too much, that hard in that example either.
Look,
Whatever.
I'm not saying no, but I'm just telling you that the corresponding the Calcutta slide is this: as effort increases, enjoyment is going to decrease. So the easier you want them in perfect equilibrium.
It's also the theme of the show. As effort increases, people's enjoyment.
I can see why you guys gravitated to this game.
All right, I just closed 1 million tabs. How's my internet now?
It's David. It's much
Seems
better
good.
now that you're not trying to create 17 different websites on Manus. Yeah.
This is it. Davis, how is the Manus going for you?
Haven't used it yet. I've been too busy trying to bully ChatGPT into making me thumbnails. That's kind of been my all-consuming thing for the last week or so.
Interesting. Because I had 2 invites, and you said, no, don't give one of those away.
David, it's coming. I'm not gonna. Well, David, unlike you, when I start a project, I finish it. I'm gonna follow it to its logical conclusion. I'm not gonna have 19 different things going at all time and then abandon them.
Are you gonna tell him, Dave, what happened?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell him.
All
Well,
right.
Pete, why don't you tell him?
Your day is not coming on Manus, Davis, because Kitchen sent me the invite instead when you were too slow to accept it.
That is totally fine. What do I care?
I just like the idea of quickly accepting your invite.
You're gonna be in the same spot that I am, which is like, oh, sure, I could flesh out at 1/4 of an idea on Manus for 2 seconds and turn it into something that's bullshit versus like
Manus
didn't
is
fit in my
Manus is
workflow,
not just
Dave.
one project. Though. Manus can help. I did a deep research project the other day that involved Manus. And
Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you, David. I bet you did. I bet you did do a deep research project. Tell me what was built. What came out of this? What was the final product of the deep research?
I was looking. My kid's school, they're starting a capital campaign, so I was looking for all the schools that were their size that had run capital campaigns, and what the average cost was for this stuff. So it doesn't have to be like an
so
app.
I definitely would not need Mantis for that in any way, shape, or form. I could just use ChatGPT for that if I wanted to.
Okay. All right. So Davis doesn't need anything really.
My thing really fill in for Tuttle. I think he said 3 words. Just a guest on this show, just get a front row seat to our bullshit for 16
I'm
minutes.
enjoying it immensely. The only difference is I'm actually engaged. I'm listening.
Thank you.
I'm not doing other stuff.
You're not
making
checking. You're not checking the Argentinian Premier League right now.
Pat, there is this Chinese AI website that can do pretty much anything for you. I had 2 invites, and I was going to give them to Swolecast members, and David said, no, don't give one of those to any Swolecast member. Save that one for me because I'm going to use it. So I sent it right to him. He said, thanks. I'll get right on that. And he never did. So then I sent it to Pete, and he snapped it.
This is Mantis research. I've been Googling Mantis. I got a lot of
Mantis.
pictures.
M-A. It's like M plus anus.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a good
That should be their
way to
slogan.
remember.
That should be their slogan.
It's
Yeah.
implicit.
All right. And with that being said, since we have discussed nothing about football, let's just go ahead and set the table.
Leave it
with
to
Mr.
Mantis.
Overzet's overview.
Got that dog in a butt. Got that dog in a butt. Overzet overview. Come on.
All right. Well, it is starting to look like the year of Davis here, guys, because despite savvier participants getting insane values on golfers like Scotty Scheffler,
John
Bryson
Rahm.
DeChambeau, and yes, Kitchen, even John Rahm, Davis's $225 winning bid of Rory McIlroy proved to be the guy you needed.
Never in doubt.
Congrats to Davis and his team of shadowy benefactors, which emboldened him to spend a year's worth of super chats on a 5'4" Irishman who nearly choked it all away.
To be fair, he's more 5'8". He qualifies though. Short King. He qualifies.
It's not all peaches and rainbows though. I was doing some reading, and Rory's wife Erica could barely be bothered to show Rory any signs of affection throughout the Masters. It was reminiscent of how Davis treats Razor in his YouTube chat. Cold, distanced, on the brink of a breakup.
That is so inside best ball.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Davis trashing his
People
own
who get it
subs.
will love it.
People who get it will love it.
Shout out to Max, though, with 2 X's, who was the real big winner of the weekend. He invested less than any other Swole. He was in for $107, but returned a profit of $308, thanks to a savvy $20 bid of Justin Rose. Also, shout out to our AI agent, Chad Candles, for getting prompted by David Kitchen to figure out the payouts.
The payouts. Chad literally did 95% of the work. Unclear what David. I guess David was the bank. David was the bank, so he did contribute that.
Davis, you're the one who wanted to do this Swolecast Masters, and you're like, no, Davis, Kitchen, you figured out. No, Chad, you figured out. Do you pay out? I mean,
no one on God's green earth wants me setting up the spreadsheet for any of this. You know it. I know it. All the Swolies know it. No one wants me doing that.
All right.
And yeah, as Davis was saying at the top, many are saying this won't be the last Swolecast, so you guys should become YouTube members today, so you too can get a front row seat to watching Kitchen lose the most amount of money of anyone in the Swolecast.
And then telling everyone the whole time how good he got his money in. The whole time.
It's honestly kind of sad. I know we're joking about it, but Kitchen told us privately that due to the loss in the Swolecast, he's actually had to pick up some extra hours at late round QB. Apparently, JJ gave him $200 to find a new font for the East Coast Dad logo.
That he then spent 6 hours doing a deep research project on to find the perfect one.
In other news, the Swolecast is in the market for another sponsorship. We had a wonderful, sexy, hot spring fling with IKB, but we're now looking for another sugar daddy. Like a young woman in Thailand, we're particularly interested in rich, bald, white guys to support our lifestyle. We're talking about you, Dan Bach. Bring us back.
It's called Dan Bach and LBH.
He did call Dan Bach an LVH.
Yeah. Love you, Dad. And it is almost time for us to start thinking about football. I know Kitchen has been losing sleep at night once the Browns swapped out Deshaun Watson for one of the most likable journeyman QBs in the league, in Joe Flacco. Fortunately for Kitchen, when God closes a door, he opens up another Tyreek Hill assault case. So, you're in business, Kitchen.
Playmaker.
I didn't know about Kerrane joining the show until the last minute, but it is great to have him here to discuss the offensive line. Yeah. It started out as a bit a few years ago, but now Pat, as a Drake May stan, has no choice but to know every single offensive lineman the Patriots might draft. So
he has real opinions. We can ask him about Will Campbell, and he could give us a real answer.
That's right.
I hate it.
Back to you, Dave. I'm good.
Thank you. Shout out to Max. He also got the other Manis invite. Speaking of,
wow. So Max is actually farming. He's actually farming his Swolecast membership for like personal gain and benefit.
Yeah.
Many such cases, honestly.
Coming up aces. All right. Pat, I don't want to go through this episode without getting any of your hot takes. I listened to you and JJ talk quite a bit on your 2-hour podcast.
Not because he was enjoying it, but because he had to write a 20-word blurb.
Yeah, it was work for you. It was too long for you. Oh God.
And by the way,
Wrap it up.
He didn't actually listen. He fed it to one of his AI models.
No, I did. I did feed it through AI, and I also listened to it. But I also didn't even know it existed because I don't even think Pat tweeted it out at first. It's like he was ashamed.
Pat's more of a Sky guy, man.
Yeah, dude, he skied it out. He sky wrote
I got
it.
it out there. JJ did tweet it first.
Yeah.
I'm not as good as I should be about tweeting out the pods because I'm not on Twitter that much. So
The return of tweeting things out, Pat, as a business owner, you're gonna get like 6 linking. Like no one clicks on anything on Twitter. No,
Are you more on?
well, that's
Are you more on Blue
honestly
Sky?
that's why I stopped doing it because it's like you don't get much engagement. You're not even supposed to have the link in there. We're tweeting out thumbnails now because like
Yeah,
the
but
links
people
are
still
illegal.
need to know, Pat. You invite
No.
my boss on to your show.
Turn on the
still
bell
need to
for
know.
YouTube. I'm trying to incentivize the YouTube bell. That's
Yeah.
the goal.
They've got to find. You're the hole in the wall bar that people have to find.
That's right. You stumble in, but
what
then
is
you're like,
the-
oh my god, this place is pretty cool.
As someone who never goes on Blue Sky, what is the state of Blue Sky right now? Like, what is does it feel like it's popping? Is there energy over there?
It's what happened, I think, is that stuff is just fractured. So we used to all like hang out in one spot, and now Twitter's way worse than it used to be. But it's not like the energy's all over on Blue Sky. Some of it's over there, some of it's in Discord, some of it's, YouTube,
Threads.
whatever else. Yeah. So I don't know how much Threads got of our little corner, but sure. Yeah. It's
Well, here,
But Blue
let's
Sky- Blue Sky, when
let's-
Twitter was down for free agency, Blue Sky did not pick up the slack. That was like a real
Wow.
disappointing moment for me. I thought they might have an open, and they didn't really, because no one's over there. Like Rappaport he tweets like every like 5th thing over on Blue Sky. It's like we need someone we need a comprehensive list of what's happening.
David Kitchen BS. If you want to add me,
I'm trying to find my analytics on like my most
that-
recent Blue Sky thing to try and figure out if the clicks are even close.
But that is where people have engaged with my creative Photoshop and Adobe post over there on Blue Sky. So I think I'm going to keep it just segmented. You want the creative side, you go over to Blue Sky. You want
You
fantasy-
want what?
you want
You
fantasy
want what?
football, business mogul lawn dad, you come over to X.
Business mogul lawn.
All right.
Yeah, I definitely see how your audience could be fractured into those two groups.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Scattaboo's on X.
Our corner's fun too.
Scattaboo is on X. Who is the running back prospect most likely to be on Blue Sky?
Lan Larison.
No, Lan Larison, who I need to send a text to real quick while I'm thinking of it. Lan Larison, I did a deep research project on Lan Larison. Dude,
Your
dude
guys'
grew up-
use of deep research project is offensive to me.
I know, right?
He grew up on a ranch. He like rides Broncos. He's like participated in rodeos. So I don't think he's welcome over on this guy.
He is. Stop. All right. This
Dude,
is
I
an
think that's
all-inclusive.
bullish. I feel like riding Broncos would be akin to special teams production for a wide receiver, where it just gives that
Yes.
little extra special sauce to the profile.
100% could not agree more.
Did you mean to say bullish, Pete? Because that was good.
Sometimes you just run so pure is
Yeah.
nailing a serendipitous pun.
All right. Pat, let's get to some hard-hitting questions. What do you think of the White Lotus season finale?
No spoilers, dude. I'm on episode 6. No spoilers.
You're
Spoilers. I'm behind.
Davis. You're watching White Lotus?
My wife will watch it. My wife doesn't.
You
really
said
like
that
much-
you hate prestige TV.
I
You
do.
know, that you don't
I
want to
do.
watch any of this stuff, that you'll get to it in 13 years when it's ironically cool to rewatch. Why are you watching?
No. I do want to know, Pat, did you watch the season finale?
I did. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for Davis though.
Yeah,
You
thumbs
can.
up, thumbs
You
down
can.
of this
I
season.
don't care. I
Because-
don't care. You could spoil it.
Overall, I feel like this season was kind of like if it was a meal, some parts are quite excellent and other parts I'm deciding to just kind of push over to the other side of my plate, and I won't really be eating
Gotcha.
those parts. That's kind of how I feel. Some plot lines I do think really crushed it. I did enjoy the blonde blob, the fancy cougars.
That was
that's
the
probably
most
my favorite.
satisfying
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Pete,
I still
up.
like season 1 the best. That's my favorite season.
Of course,
for sure.
That season 1 is like obviously like that is like what you want out of TV. TV is like cotton candy, right?
Boy.
It's not good for you. It's not doing anything.
We
for
got
you,
a
but
budding Bill Simmons right here.
But you have no idea.
Refuse
that
to watch
that is
Severance.
Like that's the highest fucking compliment you could pay me, Peter. Bill Simmons is like why I am a hot take artist, brother. Like literally, it's all Bill Simmons. So you think you just owned me, and I'm just like, absolutely.
I did think I just owed you.
Season 1 of White Lotus, just like delicious, fluffy cotton candy. Not good for you, but you're enjoying the experience. Well,
I think it actually was kind of good for you. That's why I like season 1. It's sneaky good for you.
Well, the thing too, every season of White Lotus has added an episode, right? 6 episodes, season 1, 7, 8. And Mike White was HBO came to him for that first season, and it was during COVID, and they had the restrictions, and they're like, we just need content. Can you make something in this short period of time? And because he's a really good writer, has been around for a while, was able to whip this up like within these constraints. And I think what you see over the course of these seasons is he's kind of starting to feel himself a little bit, and it's like
satire. Like it's more satire, right?
But like even the studio said that all the episodes he submitted this season were 90-minute episodes, and they're like, dude, you got to cut some of this stuff out. Like there's way too much going on. And I heard about one plot line that was supposed to be in, and this doesn't matter to Davis or whatever, but the girl Piper was supposed to have a storyline of hooking up with Zion, Belinda's son, and I'm like, what? Like Mike White was just throwing so much shit against the wall last
which
season.
one is Piper? Walter Goggins' girlfriend?
No,
Piper,
that's still family. Piper. No.
But I mean, Parker Posey, I did enjoy very much. I thought she was excellent.
I would say the thing that White Lotus offers, obviously, is what White Lotus is. It gets these like great actors.
Yes.
It gets these great. It just puts them in like funny situations. Like it's just a good bit. You know,
but I mean, season 1 had a lot to say.
Are awesome. Yeah.
I like in season 1. I guess spoilers for season 1. There's like a guy. I'll keep it somewhat vague, but there's like a dude who works on the resort.
Nobody knows.
But Pat, we do have to talk about football. We didn't bring you on to talk about White Lotus.
I'd rather talk about White Lotus than offensive linemen for the whole show.
Yeah, David,
I'd rather talk about White Lotus, frankly. In season 1, the guy who gets like in trouble, the dude that she's hooking up with,
the native Islander. Yes.
Yeah, the show and everyone in the hotel like like his life is straight up ruined, and like everyone's like, it sucks for that guy. Like that, the casual nature of like that whole thing and how screwed he is, and how it's like kind of just like a footnote in their lives. It's like it's so like real. Like that's what would happen. That to me is kind of the beauty of season 1. We're like, I'm not sure even what season 3 is trying to say. It just seemed like
Pat's on Blue Sky when his favorite part of season 1 was the strong motifs about colonialism.
It kind of was, yeah. That's fair.
I mean, I guess, and just ultimately where I land on all of this is it's like, yeah, it's fine for like Sydney Sweeney and Connie Britton to be like elucidating the finer points of how colonialism has matured as America's gotten further away from that. But also at the same point, like you can also just read a book, and like that's why TV at the end of the day is cotton candy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like Kerrane, I don't disagree with your point, but I just I find myself overwhelmingly annoyed with Severance Society. Right.
All right, like, Davis. Here's my question: if TV is cotton candy, what's the Davis Maddock YouTube channel?
Worse, seed oils. Yeah,
seed oils. Yeah,
yeah.
Because you can cook. You can cook. Like you give yourself credit.
You can cook, but you really shouldn't. You really should not. Yeah. Yeah, the Davis Maddock YouTube channel is Pam that advertises itself as 0 calories because legally you're allowed to say it's 0 calories because the micro unit of a spray is small enough. But obviously Pam has calories in it, but people do dead ass think it's calorie free. That's the Davis Maddock. Right. It's like every part of it is obfuscation and lying.
Right. Davis had this full heel turn in the ship chasing Discord a few weeks ago where he like basically thumbed his nose up at anyone who would dare to watch television instead of reading a book.
Incorrect. I watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of TV, but I'm intellectually honest about what I'm doing, which is I'm applying a different type of like morphine to my consciousness. Because
I don't think anyone's walking away. I agree with how people engage with Severance as fandom, but I don't think anyone is watching TV and then coming away like, man, I really stimulated my brain and like grew as an individual after that 60 minutes.
I'm gonna find. Do you know who Scott Seaver is?
This poker guy?
Yes, I'm gonna find this Scott Seaver tweet where he talks about Severance like it's a fucking Dostoevsky novel, and
then this is because it's Scott Seaver is why you had to go in on the ship chasing community for liking prestige television.
Yes, literally.
Ron Dawson just said, my mom just asked, "What are you listening to?" I said, "A fantasy football show."
This tweet is like, what, Davis? What are your politics? My politics are the opposite of this tweet.
You were able to so easily find this
because it really created an impression on me. Like I was mad reading this. Severance is a perfect show. People that think otherwise are incorrect, but people are allowed to be incorrect. The color theory, the filmography, slight Dutch angle, good use of splits diopter, the philosophy, the internalization, the treatise of love, the acting, a masterpiece. This I mean,
Sky, you got to come over to Blue Sky, man. You'll love it there.
Yeah. I'd like to split Scott's diopter after reading that tweet.
And like, obviously, Scott Seaver, very smart guy, hugely accomplished, has won so much poker, like whatever. But I was literally angry reading that. And that's what I've been rebelling against.
The irony is Scott Seaver is probably pretty well read, Davis. It is probably
for sure, super well read. No, you'll see
books.
this. You'll see this with people with people who are too educated. Like people will do this with David Lynch, who I love, obviously, where they will kind of read more into David Lynch than is there. I get too riled up talking about this.
Seems like a guy who likes Severance to me. You know,
I'm going to send you the link about the
about
music theory of the Severance intro, Davis. You will love it.
That actually, dude, I watched that. I watched the YouTube video on it.
It is so good. It's like your innie versus your outie.
Yeah.
I'm actually,
it's quite good.
I'm actually sitting in at a local community college class about the color theory of Severance.
Davis, I'm sorry that there's more than one version of art, man. I guess it should just be books. We should just read books. That's the only valid art. Music,
no,
certainly not.
This is a slight misappropriation of my point, because I grant obviously that television can be art, and I'm not saying yes. Thank you. This is really, at the end of the day, this is what I'm saying, is that just because your mindless slop is of a different tenor and flavor does not mean that it's not cotton candy. Really is that's really all
TV is mindless slop by definition of being TV. We've never treated movies like this. Movies are not mindless slop. Why can't it? Because there's multiple episodes, it becomes slop.
There's something about the numbing and the small screen and the way you engage with it that is a little bit more numbing than the way that movies are intended to be engaged with. Yeah.
But also, Davis watches movies on his phone. That is a key point to this. I'm not joking.
Buddy, I watch everything on my phone because I accept that I'm logging out.
So consider the context here. He doesn't get to see all the bright lights and color theory of Severance and like
the color contrast on your phone. You're missing so much
Davis
of the storytelling.
The Severance characters are too small, and that's just because they're just on his phone. Why are they so little?
You're missing the color language, brother.
All right. Let's bookmark this. 1:32 Eastern time. It's time for some offensive lineman takes. Pat, how many offensive linemen go in the first round?
I think we're going to see a bunch. I mean, offensive linemen. We're talking inside linemen. I mean, I think we're looking at probably like 4 tackles.
Yeah. This is a good draft for the linemen.
I think it's a solid draft for the lineman. It's not a good. Here's what it's not good for. If you, let's say, happen to hypothetically have a quarterback who probably you should just let another team take because you're so bad that you can't build around him yet. And you desperately need to protect that guy.
Yeah.
And you have the 4th overall pick. It's kind of a bad year to be in that situation because there's no clear cut like franchise left tackle or even franchise like right tackle. So in that sense, it's not a good offensive line class. The tackle class is okay. There's a little bit of depth to it, and there's some guard depth. So,
how many offensive linemen in this class do you think have legendary upside, Pat?
I would say 0 have legendary upside. To be honest, I would expect max probably 2-3 career touchdowns on trick plays out of this group. I just don't see a lot of.
You told us before the show that you kind of had like 6 different characteristics that go into an offensive lineman.
Hey, what are your archetypes?
Upside. Yeah, could you break those down for us?
Yeah. Well, I think one thing that gets underrated when you're looking at offensive linemen is actually just an understanding of the offense. That's where Will Campbell from LSU would ultimately be my tackle 1. Yeah. This guy's calling out plays from left tackle. That's usually reserved for the center, but he's a football guy at heart. High football IQ, work ethic, great motor on Will Campbell. 33-inch arms. His arms grew, I believe, about a half an inch from the combine to his pro day. Coincidentally meeting the 33-inch threshold exactly that a lot of teams have for what they need at left tackle. So I think he might ultimately be the pick for the Patriots at 4.
Did you listen to the reception perception episode on late round?
I haven't yet.
Wow.
You should run it through Manis later. It was really good.
The way that Harmon talks about Travis Hunter has me scared and terrified of, like, as both a Titans fan and someone who has like a number 2 pick in a dynasty draft. Is he the next Malik Neighbors, Pat?
I think he's probably more of a Garrett Wilson type as far as like what he's bringing to the offense. He's like kind of getting open at will in the short and intermediate area. But yeah, I'm in on Hunter. I think he's if you told me he's a full-time wide receiver, he'd be the 102 for me.
Yeah, what does in for you mean?
In for me means I'm not doubting his upside as a receiver at all. Like my only concern is how much do we get of him at receiver? Now, I mean, I don't think he's a Malik Neighbors level prospect even as a receiver. I think he's like maybe a little bit below that, more like a Wilson, like a Garrett Wilson level prospect. But Wilson was a great prospect. So my concern is just about, even with the Browns, like, does he play 70%, run 70% of the routes, or are they going to be comfortable with him getting up into like a true full-time wide receiver role? In which case he should probably be going ahead of Tet McMillan, or at least roughly where Tet goes. So the discount on, from Tet to Hunter, I think the only reason for it is just concern that he doesn't play receiver the whole time.
What about Luther Burden, though? He not your number 1?
No.
Wow.
No, Burden's going to be 5 for me.
Oh my God.
Hater.
You realize the Zap model has him as number 1?
He's calling Luther Burden cotton candy, brother. All sound and fury signifying nothing.
It's curious though that the Zap model has him number 1 and yet JJ has him number 2. It's one of the biggest controversies.
Yeah.
in the fantasy, right?
I heard there's been a lot of fallout over at lateround.com on that. How are you guys handling that?
Handling it just like we do, and that is providing context. It's
you hire a PR firm, and it's just David Kitchen.
Just asking people where they have Burden, they're going, really? When they don't say 1 or 2.
You need a crisis agency. There's names for these, and it's just David.
I would actually be good PR. I am good PR for
Late Round Industries.
Right. For Late Round Media, because I told JJ, hey, don't worry about that one guy. Worry about the thousands of others that you have serviced. and that understand the context.
So you're good at marketing and PR for the company because you serve as a life coach for JJ?
Yeah, I'm telling him, giving him advice like, hey, don't dox this guy on YouTube with his home address.
Yeah, that is good advice.
Like that's
And you said
That's
JJ was
invaluable
close
advice,
to doing
David.
that until you intervened, right?
right, yeah. So JJ is not the Zap model, though, Pat, to answer your question. And I know you.
Yeah, no, I never said that. I think
No,
maybe you
well,
implied that.
I know you did kind of nod your head though when Pete was saying it. So
No, as someone who has a dynamic rankings tool that he constantly ignores, I think Pat is very sympathetic to JJ's plight of ignoring the Zap model.
Luther Bird, the prestige TV of wide receivers. That honestly could be true.
Well, let's make this show actionable, Pat. DraftKings has the line set over 6.5 total offensive linemen selected in round 1, plus 150 for over. Juice minus 200 to the under. Which side of that bet are you on?
I'll take the over.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
No way.
Plus money.
Give me the under.
Yeah, because when Luther Burden sneaks into round 1, it's going to come at the expense of an offensive lineman.
Right. All it takes is just one unknown, one QB.
Not really. It's kind of up to trades at the back end of the first round,
Right,
because some of the most obvious needs for the championship contending teams are linemen, but the championship contending teams are largely smarter teams, and they're happy to trade back. If Kansas City got a good offer, like imagine a scenario, a team's like, oh, we actually want to trade back up to get the 5th-year option on Milroe or Shadur or Shuck or whoever. Kansas City's like, oh, sure. Yeah, we're happy to facilitate that and have 4 years of Gray Zabel, the left tackle from North Dakota State University or whatever.
Wow, look at you trying to upstage Pat.
Well, Zabel, as we all know, is going to kick inside. He's actually listed at center on the Beast, Dane Brugler's guide, which I'd recommend checking out, Davis. He also might play guard.
You know what's a really funny thing about offensive line culture? These I get a lot of this on my For You page. People doing like NFL film scouting stuff, and they'll just post a clip of an offensive lineman just doing like a normal blocking rep or whatever. And they'll be like, this isn't going to work at the NFL level. And you're just like, it's just a normal, what am I supposed to take away from this? Like it just looks like a perfectly norm rep. I don't know. It's obviously a very niche community. The offensive
line tape has to be a grind, man. You're just trying to like total up. And obviously when I say would be, I mean, from personal experience, it's kind of a grind because you're really just noticing how many mistakes guys are making, and they don't make a lot of mistakes, but a few mistakes,
What's the total? What's the total addressable market of like offensive line takes? Like, how many people would be like willing to pay for college football prospect offensive line analysis? Is that a growth industry?
That's how ETR sells subs now because of Brandon Thor's offensive line. They're like, Silva's not selling subs anymore.
He has a Substack. He has a Substack,
he does.
Brandon Thorn.
Yeah.
By the way, if we did want to transition, we did see a Big T, Mr. Large Anthony, just post his greatest 14 TV shows of all time. So maybe we can
Dexter top 5 is so good.
Dexter top 5. Can you zoom in?
Eastbound and Downs ahead of Better Call Saul.
Why did he just put every Danny McBride show?
He likes Danny McBride, I
think. All right, yeah, let's get back to what we're best at. Get the fucking list up there.
Did you see that?
The People's Medium television. People's Medium.
Did you see that Levitan's tweet yesterday? Definitely don't envy the NFL prospect bros this time of year. If you have a contrarian take versus the market, you're laughed at and ridiculed as not knowing ball. Even though the data is very clear, the overconfidence in NFL's prospect player evaluation is an edge for sharp front offices. So he gave some examples. Like if you said 12 months ago you preferred Jaden Daniels to Caleb Williams, or Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas to Marvin Harrison, Bucky Irving to Trey Benson and Blake Corum, you'd been laughed at. So, Pat, with that being said, what are some of the takes that you might be laughed at for having right now? Besides Luther Burden being number 5.
I'm gonna have a
and
Buka
wanting
wide
Zabel
receiver.
to go to the. Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna have a Buka ahead of Golden and Burden. I don't know if that's laughed at territory, but it's one that I've wrestled with. But that's what
he's
that's
a
what
safe
I'm gonna come
guy.
with.
Safe guy.
Yeah. I still like Jordan James is maybe one that's I'm not like super high on him, but he's kind of like off the radar for a lot of people at this point, and I still am kind of interested in him as a bet that he ends up going in the like late 3rd, early 4th round. Really consistent runner, really high success rate. People like him on tape. He's got no long speed, so he's not the most exciting guy.
Davis,
what's hot? I'm trying to think of something hotter than that.
Hey, Pat, can I get to Davis real quick? And you can
go ahead.
Keep thinking about it. Davis, what's your hottest take?
My hottest take is I don't care what the data or the draft capital shows. Devin Neal is the 3rd best running back in this class, and I just don't care. And I'm going to be wrong about it, and he's going to be a 5th round pick.
It's amazing to me that you would be like, I'm not laughing at you, Davis. I'm honestly in amazement that a running back class so loaded, you would put him at number 3.
That's why it's a hot take.
I know. But I'm not laughing at it.
I'm just trusting
what you've seen.
Trusting what I see, brother.
What you've
Devin
seen
Neal,
as a Kansas
Devin Neal
fan.
is built different, bro. He just is one of those guys who's going to get in an NFL program, and he's this is not a 1-to-1, but I'll compare him to Austin Eckler, where there were a lot of hurdles for him to getting on the field, and he was behind higher pedigree players for a long time, but like uber productive at a smaller-ish school, not as small as Eckler's, and he's not as big or as fast as you want him to be, but he just knows ball. He just has great vision, great deceleration. And it's a funny thing. Someone made this point the other day on Twitter, and I'm not going to remember who, but one of the reasons why the uber fast guys, like if you sort by 40 time on the NFL database for wide receivers, it's actually all guys who suck ass. And one of the reasons for that might be that deceleration is actually so important for wide receivers, and that's what the short shuttle and the 3-cone measure, but it's not what the 40 measures. And that's obviously definitely true for running backs. Deceleration probably even more important for running backs, and Devin Neal's really good at that.
I think maybe you watched a little too much Kareem Hunt and you're real into deceleration now.
No runs over 20 yards. No runs over 20 yards for old Kareem Hunt.
Pete,
Harold Fannin would be a guy that I'm very bullish on Harold Fannin. I feel like the fantasy market, this is one
like everybody
where
left the Fannin train and you're still on there. Like, hey guys,
I'm still all the way on, and I'm a little bit annoyed / disappointed. I'm more disappointed in kind of the fantasy community that I thought I knew would not let the NFL bully them on a guy with a 50% dominator rating, and who's still going to go day 2. I thought we had more of a backbone than this to stand up to big NFL when they tell us, no, a guy's duck-footed, we can't draft him. No, we should be drafting Harold Fannin aggressively and be happy and enjoy ourselves like we used to. Come on, guys.
So you hate Loveland is what you're saying.
I do like Loveland. It's more the Elijah Arroyo's TE3. Come on, you don't have to watch that much tape, man.
Grow up. Actually grow up
Please.
if you've ever said
Please.
that. Yeah.
Come on.
Go read a fucking book.
Go read a book.
You can borrow one of mine.
Honestly, read a prospect guide, but don't expect any tight end info until after the draft.
Elijah Roy is tight end 3. That is correct. It's okay to be incorrect.
The split diopter on the Elijah Arroyo film, out of this world.
The frame rate is just perfection.
The color theory on Just Bombs YouTube channel this year is incredible.
Color. Speaking of color theory, my hot take is
Oh God!
no.
Anytime. I'm
just saying.
You're about to say.
I'm just saying people are sleeping on Xavier Restrepo. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know the 1-to-1 there.
Did you see Matt Harmon release his profile on Restrepo? Wasn't?
I did not.
How much green we looking at? How much?
Wasn't as green as I was hoping. It's a little. He's kind of. I think he's like a straight up slot. I was hoping he'd be like a route runner.
I was gonna say. I bet his hitches. I bet his hitches and his slants. Though I bet he was green on those.
Let's see.
Yeah.
He feels like a guy that the Pats front office is going to fall in love with.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
This is what we were trying to do.
Totally.
We selected Jalen
Yes.
Polk.
Yeah, great.
Totally.
great
Restrepo
fit,
or
Patriots.
Jack Besh, who will we draft?
Jack Besh all
Besh?
day. Jack
No,
all
Besh
day.
is too much of a dog for the Patriots, though.
That fair. No, so he's red on curl, dig, post, 9, out, and come back. He's red on all of them.
Not good for Restrepo. Do you guys know about Tommy Mellott?
Can't say I do.
Okay.
Probably because I'm out here reading books.
So this is, when you look up great fit Patriots in the dictionary, this is the dude.
Montana State.
9.5 RAS quarterback from Montana State who ran for like a bazillion yards.
It's so funny. As soon as I put in Tommy Mallet, it gave me Tommy Mallet Rass as like the suggested
Oh, that's funny.
search.
And he's big too. He's 210 pounds. So like more, but not like the opposite of what we were talking about on ADP chasing Kerrane. He's like more compact. So like you actually could see him running like wildcat type stuff. Here's another one.
Sorry, but if the Patriots draft a dual threat quarterback to steal wildcat snaps from May and then don't draft like linemen or receivers,
You mean just so they could trade him to the Cowboys for a 7th round pick?
Well, Kerrane, I do have some very good news for you. It's probably not going to require a draft pick to acquire Tommy Mellott. I think he's probably going to be believe he's going to be a priority free agent. But I will plant a flag that Tommy Mellott, unclear. He's gonna have a multi-year NFL. He's like, yes. What if Danny Etling was good? Remember Danny Etling, who hung around on the Patriots roster forever as their quarterback 3. He's like, what if Etling had a 10 RAS or a 9.5 RAS?
I've been so into May that people are accusing me of being a Patriots fan, but thankfully I don't remember their quarterback 3 from 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, they had him play wide receiver too, I think, for a little while. Okay. But 3,500 rushing yards and 43 rushing touchdowns for Tommy Mellott in college. Famously, Etling had a 90-yard preseason rushing touchdown.
Someone won some money on.
Is this what the football talk people want, or can we get back to White Lotus?
You guys, I just gave you. There's no such thing as a sleeper in fantasy football anymore, and I just gave you like a legitimate one. This dude could be the next Taysom Hill.
That was good. And then whenever he does get
when
drafted,
you guys
on day
were
3,
watching Severance, I was watching Montana State Bobcats football. All right. You think that I didn't watch the Big Sky Conference Championship? Because guess what? I did, bro.
Doesn't sound like a lot of readings getting done, Davis.
I now need my tape watchers to kind of have an asterisk and denote on what size screen they actually watch the tape, because I want to discredit Davis's phone film watching, because I know Harmon probably has a wall-size projector where he's out there grading the film.
I watched the FCS championship and the Big Sky Conference Championship on my television, not on my phone.
Proud of you. Where did you watch the Masters?
Saturday, I was at the Cardinals game. I watched it on my phone. Sunday, I watched it on my TV.
You went to the Cardinals game to watch the Masters on your phone?
My wife got tickets to Pooches in the Park, which you bring your dog to a baseball game, which was actually a lot of fun. And I was like, obviously, that's fun. Let's go do it. But it was during the Saturday portion of the Masters.
I was watching Aberg just completely melt down. He was tied for first. And I was thinking, in my head, Davis's guy collapses. My guy rises to the top. I win everything. Tuesday is amazing. And then I think the last hole, I'm just watching in a gym on my screen as like he goes from second to third to then like seventh. It was demoralizing. It's terrible. So, yeah, and he lost 500K too. So both of us lost a lot of money.
You want to ask me one of my hot takes?
Pete, who's one of your hot takes so far?
All right, I'm going to do a real one.
Okay.
No bits. The overview's over. Byshell Tuten, I think, is going to turn in a top 3 running back season for the rookies this year. I think he's this year's Xavier Worthy, the guy that gets miscategorized as this speed merchant
that robs me blind.
Davis, that was your own fault. People who built smartly constructed Xavier Worthy teams did fine.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
And Tuten, highly productive, like dominated touches at Virginia Tech, has the production to back up the athleticism. I think he's going to have like an Achane potential level impact as a rookie, and is just being.
There's one thing that you just have to fade for him.
Okay.
And you know what that is?
I'm about to get a nugget from the late round draft guide.
Well, no, I think Pat knows too. Pat, what's the knock on Tuten? Ball security. Yeah. So if you can avoid that, then he does have, and honestly, like he could be one of those guys that's just drafted into a perfect situation.
Yeah, it's like telling Russell Westbrook not to turn over the ball. When you're going to put the ball in his hands for the entire game, there's going to be some turnovers. Tuten's going to have to crack a few eggs to make an omelet, Kitchen.
He also didn't. He was at North Carolina A&T before that, and he didn't fumble once there in his entire career. So I don't know that.
Different, kind of about step up in competition, the level of athlete.
Different.
No.
Virginia Tech playing against ACC and SEC opponents.
Excuse me. Let someone who's watched the film talk, please. His arm security is. I've never seen a bicep kind of cradle the ball so tightly. It was fluky. Everything that happened at Virginia Tech was just fluky.
I can imagine like getting owned by a film guy. They're like, "Have you ever watched this tape?" And you go and he like holds the ball like this while he runs, and you're like, "Fuck!"
He holds it like LaShawn McCoy every rush. It's 3 feet
like
away
Michael
from his
Vick.
spot. He's just banging the defender to rip it out. And I'd be like, "Shit, dude! I never watched him play. First time hearing."
Oh
it.
no!
There are two things about that LaShawn McCoy thing. It is like obviously the dumbest thing you can do as an NFL player, but God, it looks so cool. Every time they do it, it's like that.
It's like holding a gun like this.
Yeah.
You know
Someone
what?
make a gift of that.
You know what? I'm giving him an unironic. That's fair. It does look cooler to hold a gun that way, and it does look cooler to hold the football the way.
I'm giving him an unironic Ja Morant-esque fine for doing gun celebrations on the Swolecast.
The next thing John Morant needs to do, and this has probably been said about 5,000 times on Twitter, is he needs to pull a laptop out and do a drone and have one of his teammates in a corresponding thing on the other side of the court pretend like they got blown up to go full modern American warfare.
Honestly, though, it was pretty funny on Saturday. I saw a kid hit a 3 and do the. It was awesome.
Kitchen, I saw a piece of content that just had to like smack your For You page as far as being right up your alley. Did you see the post from the guy who took a photo of Paige Beckers and talked about her being great as a 6th grader? And he was like, watch out for this girl.
Yeah,
I've only
seen
one name to take a look, to keep an eye
on.
on. Yeah, Paige Beckers.
Yeah,
but that's
I knew that was right.
Diana Taurasi. Yeah.
Shout out to Paige Beckers going to Dallas.
Shout out to Paige Beckers. Although, do you know the current WNBA conspiracy theory, Dave?
What is it?
Surprised this has not hit your For You page.
Is it that
the gal
they hand timed her 40?
No. The gal who went second is like a French big, and she's like clearly way better than Paige Beckers. Like way, like gonna like immediately be like a way bigger impact player in the WNBA, but because of the way the WNBA works and like franchise value and like what Caitlin Clark has done for the Indiana Fever, you gotta take Paige. You know, like just for like franchise value and jerseys and everything.
French big is what Kitchen called his masseuse on their trip to Paris.
Get it? I mean, you got to do what's good for.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. We're like all having a very good show. I don't know. There's something in the air right now. This is about as good as an off-season Swolecast could possibly get.
On Saturday, I got to watch and got to talk to the Philadelphia Eagles linebackers coach, one of my old friends. And his daughter came. They were going to spring break, and his daughter came by and played one game with my girls' team, and she is 5'10" as a fifth grader, like maybe 5'11", because she's basically as tall as me. And at first, we're like, maybe a little unfair, but then we come to find out we played a team of seventh grade girls and still beat them by 13. So there you go. There's your story.
Kitchen, I don't know if you've seen this. Not a lot of people have seen this photo of Andy Reid when he was 13. Punt kick pass. It's pretty rare. Not a lot of people.
Kitchen, we showed Pat that for the first time on Thursday. Pat had never seen
that. No! Are you serious?
God.
Red Zone, man. They don't put it on there.
Yeah. That's not hitting your blue sky for you, Payne.
It's not a blue sky, no.
It comes around so much. How did you miss that? Like, that's amazing that you have honestly dodged that picture.
They don't post that on the sky, brother.
That's just a picture.
They don't post it on the sky.
No, because it kind of encourages body dysmorphia kind of stuff.
That's right. Yeah, the kid behind.
Stop. All right, we got to wrap up before Davis goes on a Disney rant. We got to go on Disney World rant. We got to go on a.
It's not really so much a Disney World rant as it was I don't like being in public around other people rant.
Yeah,
that's for behind the paywall. Pat.
Davis just tried to like disguise that take, and it made it sound way worse than it. I don't know. All right, yeah, you get stuff behind the paywall. Come join us in the Swole's channel.
If you ever want to participate in one of the Calcuttas, it is only for members. So
yeah.
If you ever want to be randomly selected to be in.
I think I might be able to join Membies only on Friday, by the way, depending on the timing.
Got some bad news, man. I'm going to be out of town on Friday. It's my wife's birthday.
Kitchen.
A lake house.
Yeah, maybe it's me and Pete then.
It's finally time to talk our shit.
I just need to figure out how to do this.
I'd get such intense. I can create the stream for you. And I can, or Pete can. I can add Pete as an administrator to the Swolecast channel.
You're more worried about Kitchen being able to pull off creating the.
I don't want Dave to be an administrator on my.
That's what it comes down to. 100%. He does not trust me to be on his YouTube.
No, but it's like not trusting Dave for the wrong reasons. Like the reasons not to trust Dave is because he learned about some like webhook between Manus and StreamYard.
That's what it is. It's the Davis' thumbnails are going to be made by M with anus with an M.
It's just like I streamlined your entire workflow. It's all these like stick figures.
Davis asks me weekly about advice for his YouTube channel, so this will be a welcome reprieve from that. Actual ball, I'm sure it'll be talked about on Friday. Pat, you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, Manus, derived from the Latin word for hand, is a general AI agent that turns your thoughts into actions.
There you go.
It doesn't just think, it delivers results. Manus excels at various tasks in work and life, getting everything done while you rest.
That's
Check it out.
m+anus.com.
Dave, why don't we have an AI related sponsor for the Swolecast? Why is one of these places not sponsoring the Swolecast?
Because they would just deep research the show and be like, nah, I'm out. But I mean,
Maybe if they just looked at the number of times AI was referenced, though, they could.
Yeah,
be
exactly.
impressed.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe
I used AI to figure out an efficient way to do the payouts for the Swolecast, and then learned.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I didn't do that.
I felt bad when you like created this whole table of who should pay who, and I was like, wait, what?
No, that was one of those times where I was just playing in the AI sandbox. I was like,
You were
what
in
a
the
fun
sandbox.
problem to solve. Like, what's the most efficient way, Mr. AI overlords, to settle this Calcutta? And then Kitchen's like, I've already been collecting 14 individual Venmo transactions.
No. Pete, if you were fine with guaranteeing anyone who but like we had the pot of like up to 2,800 and people like there's just a lot of money, and I can't vouch for everybody, but now I feel like we can, those people that have already come in. But,
Everyone, you either have to be like doxxed or vouch for. No, that's the rule.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So shout out to Chad Candles for honestly for helping put together the sheet, helping to put together the payouts. Chad, we appreciate you. Next Menace invite, hey, coming your way. Thanks to Pat. Pat didn't say it, but he's got an episode out with my boss, late round QB JJ Zacharyse, and you can find on his channel Legendary Upside. And I think as far as Davis, Pete, final thoughts?
No, I feel like I know way more about this offensive line class than I did heading into the episode, and that's why Kerrane is the best at what he does.
How we've got the draft analyst thumbnail. People, if this does hit the algorithm, people are gonna be so
This
confused.
is more concurrent viewers than we had for the Masters Swolecast.
Well, yeah, it's because that was very, very niche, and like only people that are really sick or involved in the Swolecast was.
Well, that's because they call him Patty Page views. He brings them out.
That's right.
That's right with that thumb. Davis, I know you got something to promote.
Yeah, I am streaming in like 30 minutes. The redirect from this channel will go right there. So if you want to come see some big boards, we're starting right away.
I'm also streaming 30 minutes from now, and once I get into the Swolecast, I will override the redirect to watch us draft the biggest board.
I stopped drafting big boards when the dinger was closing, and I have like 14 left, so I gotta hammer them this week.
Very nice. All right. On behalf of the $2 Million Man, the seed oil of fantasy football YouTube channels, and the
I hope that sticks.
You don't have one for me. I'll vamp and give you a few seconds to come up with a good one here.
No, I was going to say the overview overlord, Pete Overzet.
Okay. You could do better. You could do better.
I know, but it's Pete. You know how sensitive he is.
He puts the anus in Manus.
Sassy Pete. Yes. All right. There we go. I'm David Kitchen. We'll see you next time here in the Swolecast. Peace.
Are you David Static from the Swolecast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand context.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me, I don't do a ton of research before the show.
I've put no research into this. Don't know if it's true at all.
You're on the right show.
To it, bro. Little.